Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Mitch from BD Audio, where we like the dyno amps down under. On today's channel, we have the dub6002, made from Audio Barn. These had some crazy subs, some crazy designs, but essentially they were made for that custom car era that Audio Barn did their own little version of it, which was the DUB version. Now, this amplifier has some pretty strong ratings, I will admit. So it's rated 300 times 2 at 4 ohms, 450 times 2 at 2 ohms, and 840 times 1 at 4 ohms. Now, on the front of the amplifier, you have 4-gauge inputs. Unfortunately, they are angled, but they do fit a 4-gauge reducer from 0 to 4. You have 8-gauge remote and your sub terminals. You have 25 amp fuses times 2, so dumb math, about 500 watts. You have an input balancer. You have your left and right Tiffany style RCAs or panel mount. You have your mode, which is balanced or unbalanced. You have a bass control remote and your voltage display by telephone cable, which is quite nice. This is one part of the amplifier that I actually like. You're able to essentially daisy chain multiple amplifiers by connecting rods. I'll see if I can find a photo, and if I can, I'll pop it up here. So on the side of both sides of the amplifier, you'll see that you have two 40 amp fuses. Now that's just to protect the amplifier. You then have a positive and you have a negative. You also have a power port. I can't remember what that's for, but you have this on both sides of the amplifiers. As you'll see, the other side is the same. The only difference is you have a slave off and master switch as well. On top of the amplifier, you have a bass frequency, a bass boost, a low pass frequency, a crossover, high pass frequency, subsonic, another subsonic, which is your switch to turn it on and off. You have your gain. You have a reset button, which I think is to reset the LEDs, as there is an LED in here. You also have a power and protect LED at the top, as well as, which is not obvious, which is quite obvious, a big giant fan at the top. Now, I have been looking for a few weeks, if not, I'd say maybe a couple of months, to try and find you another one of these amps to show you how they sort of connect together. But essentially, one amp will clip into the side to the other amp. And what all you would do is you would have two, say something like this is just heat shrink, but you would have two solid copper or aluminium bars. You would screw one down and then the other amp would essentially slot straight into the side of it, and that's how they would join the power. So you could essentially have, say, 3 amplifiers or however many you want, but only have the power running into one. Obviously, that one small run to supply multiple amplifiers is not exactly smart, but it gives you that overall clean look. So I guess there's nothing left to do. Let's strap this dub up to the amplifier and see what kind of power it makes. Well, I guess that's time of night. Let's pop this front panel off. Yes, front. and see what kind of guts are inside. And there we go, guys. That is the inside. Other than a little bit of dust, it is quite impressive. The fact that they've got these big 8-gauge leads running from one side of the board to the other, and to the front, which is what I said. So they're basically direct inputs off to those other amplifiers, and then the fusing is purely just to keep them there safe. As far as board goes, there's not much going on the board. But looking at this, I would have assumed that this would have made a little bit more than 600 watts, but you can never be too sure. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the Audio Barn dub version 600.2. If you do like what we do on this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. And as always, thanks for tuning in. This is Mitch from BD Audio, where we like to dyno amps down under. I'm tuning out. See ya.